Nothing is ordinary about Irena Simonović. She was born in Serbia, lived in New York and Chicago, and then life took her to Belgium. Irena fell in love with martial arts as a young girl, looking at people conquering their mind, space, and time with this craft. And no wonder that she holds a black belt third degree in Shotokan karate. Irena has won multiple national championships and proudly represented her country as the member of the national team. At the height of her own fitness level and working as a personal trainer, Irena will face the biggest challenge in her life. With her joints inflamed and unbearable body pain, Irena will find herself facing lupus, an autoimmune disease that will significantly alter her life and work. She would start questioning many things in her life, but one thing would always remain: Irena's own sense of responsibility for healing and finding the way out. Welcome to RADtalks number 7. It's been my great pleasure to sit with this amazing woman. Hello, Irena, and welcome.
Hi, Radmila. It's my great pleasure as well. And I've been so excited from the moment we started talking about this talk.
Thank you so much. I really welcome this opportunity to talk with you about wonderful topics such as holistic approach to wellness, health, and success.
Yes.
So let's start with actually sharing what you and me have in common. And as far as I know, it's two big loves, two great things. So first one is sports, obviously. I can clearly say sport was the first love of my life, and probably for you as well, as we could see. And I always, when I think back about it, it's this amazing energy of activating your body, being focused, and of course achieving. But all this happens through play and through fun.
Exactly.
So it's really special. And yes, we've been both members of the national team, which is wonderful. So my sport was field hockey, and yours was karate. And I think it's the same for both of us. Every time we look back at these old photos or old newspaper articles, trophies or medals, it really, really makes our heart warm.
Absolutely.
Right. And the second big love that we share is, of course, a holistic approach to life. Yes. So I can say here, I have been one of the biggest fans of now worldly known, the holistic psychologist, Dr. Nicole LaPera. I've been also a member of her self-healers circle. This is an online platform to do the inner work, basically. And this is where we learn that actually all the power to change things lies only in our hands. We learned that the world is not our enemy. And we also learned that once we are aware enough to align with our true self, life and work become serious sources of joy and happiness and fulfillment. And of course, Irena is a holistic life coach.
In terms of coaching, how I see it, and I also follow Dr. Nicole. She's absolutely amazing, and she's opening eyes to many in terms of looking inside and following your own intuition and inner voice, and being connected to your higher self and being self-compassionate. Since I started working as a life coach after my big challenge, that inspired me to look at myself holistically. That's how this holistic approach was born, actually, because I wanted to look at the person as a whole. When someone comes to me with a goal or with an issue they want to solve, or they're stuck in some kind of situation, I want to focus on their emotional, spiritual, physical well-being, and also their interactions and their relationships.
You are a master kinesiologist. You are certified REBT practitioner, so rational emotive behavior therapy practitioner. You are also an NLP coach and a guided meditation teacher. So what a fabulous foundation for somebody doing the holistic approach to well-being. So let's see how you arrived here. So as we could see in the short introduction, you're somebody who hails from top performing athletes with a, I would say, razor sharp focus on fitness and competition. Your life was sort of halted or shifted significantly when you found out you had lupus. So could you explain to us a bit how did this transition in your life and work happen? Or in other words, how is a disease putting our life to a reset and basically making us question everything we've done so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good and beautiful question. And it's something I've been answering for 3 years already, because I was diagnosed in October 3 years ago, just a week before my birthday. And it happens in a way suddenly if I fail to acknowledge the pre-symptoms I've already had, that I would with my personality that is just very focused on the goals and positivity that I try to maintain even in hard situations, which is good in one sense. But in other, when we were supposed to listen to our body and to quiet any external noise, I was not aware of that tendency to not to listen to my body and to neglect my needs. And then when I was actually diagnosed, at that point I wasn't able to walk, to lift my arms. Every single molecule in my body was in enormous pain. So at one point, I decided to take a different approach and to start exploring what is initiating these inflammations. I couldn't get that answer from the mainstream medicine. They don't talk about healing.
Yeah, and this is the missing link, right? So
exactly.
This is why we are now today here sitting and talking about the holistic approach, which is very different. So let me summarize then. So clearly the big reset comes when we get sick, when some big incident happens, or when we realize our health is seriously jeopardized. But I want to shed some light now on what is also contributing to it. And a lot of people don't talk about it, also maybe the traditional medicine. So in the last episode of RADtalks, they had a very interesting conversation that dealt with negative mental patterns known as saboteurs or self-saboteurs. And these are the thoughts and that all of us have, right? And this is particularly when we are stressed. This is our go-to mental pattern that is subconsciously driving our behavior. And I talked a lot about people pleasing and controlling, for example, but there is a whole lot of us out there who not knowingly actually are behaving as hyperachievers. And this category is very well known for you. So I want to ask you now, Irena, because this also came into light when you started exploring more about your disease. How was the life of a hyperachiever?
Very interesting, with very high emotional highs and very low lows. Wow. The problem with hyperachievers is that we find joy, and now I see that it's a very superficial joy in winning, achieving, accomplishing things. You achieve something and you're happy for how long?
Yeah, it's a short-lived experience.
It's a very short-lived happiness. And in between, you're in this constant state of not being happy with who you are without that achievement. We identify with either being achievers or not knowing who we are.
Exactly. And you now say a crucial thing. What can lead to a disease is this basically equalizing our self-worth with achievements we make in life.
Achievement.
Because of course, that's not all we are about. So winning, elbowing, being a workaholic or just going for the next best thing, keep pushing ourselves. Look, it looks like a very long marathon that has no end.
As you know, Radmila, that comes from very early childhood conditioning. We don't have sense of who we are when we're little children, and we need that mirrored back to us. Mm-hmm. So depending on what approach our parents have, and none of them are perfect. I'm a parent, I'm not perfect, knowing everything I know.
Yeah, of course.
And in my case, my parents were not encouraging of me expressing my feelings, especially those who show some kind of vulnerability.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they are very supportive when it comes to having good grades, being successful at sport. At least my dad. So the message I get, and I think most hyperachievers, the message you get is that you're accepted if you are successful, if you're achieving, if you're accomplishing things.
Yeah.
And you don't know where your sense of worth comes from if you don't do that. And back to illnesses, if we don't find
the boiling point,
the boiling point, that we cannot rest in a way, we cannot feel good in our skin. That's my awakening now, and that again, self-reliance can be toxic, and it has been in my case, because you rely on yourself so much that you don't ask for help, even though you need it. And you're so afraid.
And is available, and somebody else would like to help.
Available, and people are happy to
help. Exactly. Yes. This is also very good to take a note of. For example, I mean, a lot of us like to help other people, but then having an issue of asking for help from other people, and there is a way around this. I mean, we just have to think: why are we taking away a chance or opportunity for those other people to also feel good when they're helping us?
Feel good. I would like people to understand that if you have any type of pattern, it can support your well-being or not, and or can do both. But that's why self-awareness is super important. Some people come and say, what is wrong with me? And I really like to point that out. There is nothing wrong with any of us. We're just programmed that way. Yeah. And unless we awaken this bigger part of ourselves, that is just pure consciousness that can recognize that patterns. Because if you turn inside, you start recognizing.
Thank you for saying this. Self-awareness is really the basic first step in this whole process.
That's the basic first step for everything.
So I guess you of course, ever since that disease appeared in your life, you have discovered a lot about yourself, and also you were able to finally address the hyperachiever in you, which was there for a long time. And you, of course, improved your knowledge, skills, and everything, and discovered beautiful and useful methods that you actually use today in your coaching. I would like now to focus on the three key areas which you cover, and that is success mindset, emotional resilience, and holistic approach to health. Could you tell us a little bit more about each of these, so how you integrate them, and how do you help people throughout these three areas?
Most people, when they come to a life coach, they want to create some kind of success in life. And or if we start from the negative, to overcome some obstacle. In order to achieve success, you have to shift your mindset. The most important one is to shift from fixed to growth mindset. For example, I'm studying for an exam and I get some kind of grade that I'm not happy with.
Yeah.
People with fixed mindset automatically create this belief, I'm a failure. And people with growth mindset are focused on growth and progress. That's one part. Then positive attitude and positive self-talk. Which means that we cannot succeed if we have negative beliefs about ourselves.
Can you say that again? This is a very important sentence. Can you repeat it?
We cannot succeed if we have negative beliefs about ourselves.
Thank you, but
and that's for some people is given. For others, they need to develop positive self-talk.
Yeah.
Going back to my introspection, besides hyperachiever, I had lots of self-criticism, and I had to work on myself to overcome those. So yes, that's another component, developing this positive self-talk.
Yeah.
Having a big vision, allowing yourself dream big. Because if you don't have a compelling enough goal to pull you forward, because a success path is not an easy path. It's constantly stepping out of your comfort zone and experiencing that discomfort. So if you don't have meaningful enough goal to pull you forward, it's not very likely that you will follow through.
For the people that might find, when we talk about success mindset, it might sound a bit overwhelming, but actually there is a trick which helped me a lot understand that it's actually not overwhelming at all. So if I learned that if you make first a very small promise to yourself to do it daily and keep it, such as, for example, for me, doing a physical exercise 15 minutes only every day, or choosing a healthy lunch also every day, and you keep it up. So every day it happens and you are mindful to it.
Yes.
You actually build a self-trust. And keeping this promise and building a self-trust is the foundation of success mindset. So it's not that complicated as we think.
It's not complicated. I agree totally. Yeah. It's that's basically what I do with in my coaching sessions. We create this big vision, and then we break it down into more achievable, realistic steps that people can easily digest, to put it that way. Building self-trust, for some people, that's really crucial.
Yeah. And in my experience, so exactly how we are going on this journey with you is, so first, awareness of our needs. So what is it that our body needs? And self-trust and self-care, for me, it's like a blueprint of success mindset. And then when we break it down, it doesn't sound that like, oh, it's only for those type of people, or it's only for rich people, or, it's for everybody, right? And we all have capabilities for it.
That's true.
And the next field or area in which you help people with is beautiful, and it's you call it emotional resilience, right?
The emotional resilience, emotions are something that has been neglected culturally.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Across cultures, it doesn't even matter. I mean, West,
it doesn't matter.
It's everywhere.
Men or women put a lot of emphasis on how you feel. How do you feel? So emotional resilience is basically ability to bounce back after some kind of stressful event or trauma. Going back to mind-body link, our thoughts create some kind of physical reaction in terms of different hormones. But if we are not aware of what is happening inside, that's most likely because it's some kind of subconscious thought, a belief that is creating those. So going inward and just asking yourself one exercise that would recommend to everyone, just placing your hand on your heart, because this is emotional body, from the stomach up to the head. Just placing your one hand on the heart, the other hand on the stomach, And just asking yourself, what do you need? What do you feel? Just to awaken, because we've been suppressing emotions for so long that we don't know what we feel anymore. If we don't have that ability to regulate our emotions, going back to any type of success or making changes, every change is a challenge for our nervous system.
Absolutely.
So we're triggered. We are stepping outside of our comfort zone, and the body creates fear. It's just on autopilot.
Yeah.
So if we are not aware of that fear in our body, if we don't recognize the physiology of stress in our body, the better approach is to regulate yourself. First step, understanding what you're feeling. Second, there are many different methods, tools can regulate ourselves. There is this top-down and down-up approach. One is more cognitive, just basically having this positive talk, and the other one is through the body.
Yeah.
The other way of regulating yourself is it's something that's called co-regulation. And that's basically being open for others to regulate us. It's worth starting with someone you trust, like a therapist or a coach or a really, really good friend, someone you trust, or if it's one member of family that you start sharing. I think it's a crucial part of well-being and just sense of agency, because if we cannot control what is happening to us emotionally, it's not very likely that we can control the results we get in life.
Yes, thank you for this. You explained so beautifully. Whatever you think in your head has its part in the body, and vice versa. So we really need to be aware of this, and we can employ much more resources than we thought we have before. So now we know it's not only like I can only think positive thoughts and that's going to lead me to success. It doesn't work like that. You need your body to follow that. So thanks a lot for this. And I guess this is leading us to sort of like a third cluster of yours, which is a holistic approach to health.
To health. We can be grateful to mainstream medicine. In some sense, when it comes to medications, they rely too much on medication. And for me, especially going back to my own example, the medication that I take for autoimmune illness is cortisol, which is basically a stress hormone, and it has many, many side effects. So for me to go down from 32 milligrams to 4, it took maybe a year. With all kinds of side effects. I'm not going to go there now. But for me, that was not a solution. That I'm treating my joint pain and everything else goes to hell, basically. Why holistic approach to health? Because from all these books that I've read, searching for answers, and the one that stood out was from Gabor Mate. It's called When the Body Says No. You know, the Dr. Gabor Mate, first of all, beautiful human being. I listened to many of his talks, also on addiction and how is everything connected to early childhood emotional trauma and our conditioning and so on. But especially when it comes to holistic approach to healing, what he describes in this book is how much our body is basically talking to us.
And it has wisdom. It has all the wisdom we need.
Because our some people would argue that our subconscious is stored in our body. But what he describes about people with cancer, especially women, that their profile is so similar, psychological profile, that they all care so much about others and neglect their own feelings. And especially anger is so much suppressed in people with cancer. And he describes this back to immune system, that immune system on this biological level is our protection from some kind of threat. On a psychological level, anger is our protection from external threat. So if we suppress anger in terms of, okay, I'm smiling even though you are insulting me, because I'm conditioned to be a nice person. So we suppress the psychological aspect of us that is there to protect our boundaries. Then we automatically suppress our immune system, which is our biological response to threat. And what is cancer but compromised immune system? My anger is turned towards myself. And that back to self-criticism, this extreme self-criticism and those insane standards that I put on myself.
And you know, it's so true. People like Gabor Maté and similar, really, we can say opening a Pandora's box, or actually sharing the truth, which is we have to be able to be aware what we have in our bodies and what's unprocessed. So because unprocessed emotions can really come and catch up with us. So, you know, I always say we feel lucky that, for example, we don't have cancer or this or that disease, but actually emotions such as anger or shame or fear are all cells of cancer. And if they get large enough, they conquer our body, and really we might end up being totally sick and not realizing, but how is this possible? So actually this body, mind, spirit connection is amazing. You mentioned quite a lot, and some things are extremely vulnerable. So we know that people really need to be ready for this and to open all these doors to do the inner work, like you say. So now I want to ask you the crucial question. How can somebody recognize when they need this kind of support, when they're ready for coaching?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Not easy to answer, to be honest with you, because it depends on many factors. A coach partners with the client, and we grow together in the process. And coach is not a teacher or a mentor. I'm there to ask really good questions to motivate people to look within and to find their answers.
You also use the term compassionate self-screening. So maybe you can explain that because it sounds very inviting.
Self-screening, that's something that has been, I think, crucial part of my healing journey. And when I say healing, it's not just my body healing, it's just my life healing.
So everything.
Because at one point during those difficult months at the beginning of diagnosis, there was this thought that crossed my mind in the middle of meditation that I don't really want to heal. And
this is interesting.
I have chills now, and then I was in huge shock. So I wanted to explore it. And who's this me who doesn't want to heal? And I knew it, that it was true. So I started exploring, and when I'm talking about, it's just one example of a compassionate self-screening, just turning inside and asking yourself, why? If you notice something like that, or if you notice that you want to achieve something, but you're resisting it, just be honest with yourself. What stops me? And it doesn't have to be something external. It can be your fear. And then explore deeper. Fear of what? So compassion self-screening is why I said compassion. Self-screening is basically asking those deep questions going within. Compassionate means without judgment. Just bringing, like, because we all have this inner child. You're familiar with the term. That all those beliefs we developed as little children, and those beliefs are still inside of us. But we have ability to develop this higher self, which can, with lots of wisdom and lots of love and compassion, approach this child that's either scared or lacks self-worth, or be rejected or abandoned. So compassionate self-screening is from that place of wisdom and experience, approach that. Some people call it inner child, some people call it shadow, how to know that you need it. Just maybe ask yourself a question, do I repeat complaining about this over and over and over and over? That means the same thing. We all do that. At one point, I have to sit down and explore what's behind it.
I want to ask you to finish on a note that can help us all. So my question would be how to start the new year with commitment, a real strong commitment to our well-being, and especially how to follow up when a resistance to change kicks in.
What are positive aspects of this year? How I contributed to my sense of well-being? And then after that, to ask themselves, okay, this is something that is working in my life. This is something that it doesn't.
Well, you are asking us to be brutally honest with ourselves. And as we know, that's the hardest part for the human nature.
That is the hardest part, but it pays off. When you realize what stopped you before, then you prepare yourself for that when that resistance comes and say to yourself, okay, I want to adopt this different mindset now and overcome that.
Excellent. All right. Well, I want to still mention a couple of things. So we'll leave the contacts for a wonderful website for holistic coach Irena. And also Irena has a wonderful gift for you. So reach out for a free intake session or a free consultation with Irena.
There's one big message that I keep sharing with everyone and keep reminding myself. Be nice to yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
In so many ways, with the choices you make, with the thoughts you think, how you treat yourself and your emotional body, and how you are with others. Second is know what your strengths are and build this positive inner voice and dream big.
Yes, I love that one. Yes. My message is short, find little meaningful rituals, small promises you can keep to yourself every day. And this is literally the building bricks of a much higher, taller, braver building, which is our higher self. So self-trust, especially for everybody in 2022, and paired with self-trust, courage, because we are so beautiful and so amazing, and our body has so much wisdom. We just have to tune in and learn to listen to it, right? Thank you so much, Irena. This has been my big pleasure. This RADtalks number 7. It's Soulful Conversation podcast. I pick wonderful people to present to you and to have this lovely chat with. I wish you all the joy and happiness in the new year. And yeah, looking forward to talking soon again and seeing what happened in between.
Yes, I just want to mention that I absolutely enjoy what you do in your podcast and just keep up great work. I wish you all the best as well.
Thank you so much.
Stay brilliant and positive.
Thank you so much.